EastEnders pairings are messy. Some are controversial, but this one should never happen. Cindy Beale, Max Branning. Just saying those two names together should feel wrong. And yet, EastEnders is quietly lining them up again. And if you know their history, you'll know exactly why this could be one of the most explosive storylines the show has touched in years. Because this isn't romance, it's unfinished business. And once it starts, there's no way it ends cleanly. I don't know about you, but when I first clocked the way Cindy and Max were being framed recently, my stomach actually dropped a bit. Not because it was exciting, not because it was romantic, but because it felt dangerous. These aren't two characters with a bit of mild history. This is deep, uncomfortable, almost taboo territory. And EastEnders knows that long-time viewers will immediately feel it. Cindy Beale has always lived loudly. Her relationships have never been soft or simple. She doesn't drift into love, she crashes into it. And every time she does, someone gets hurt, sometimes badly. Max Branning, meanwhile, doesn't just bring drama into a room, he infects it. His relationships tend to spiral, pulling families, secrets, and entire streets down with them. So when these two start circling each other again, it doesn't feel like fate. It feels like history repeating itself in the most uncomfortable way possible. And what's clever here is that the show hasn't rushed it. They haven't slapped romantic music underneath their scenes or tried to sell it as destiny. Instead, it's all tension, looks that linger a second too long, conversations that feel loaded, moments where you can't tell if they're about to argue or cross a line. And as a viewer, that puts you on edge, because you're constantly thinking, surely not, surely they wouldn't. But this is EastEnders, of course they would. Let's talk honestly about Cindy for a minute, because she's often reduced to headlines instead of understood. Yes, she's made selfish choices. Yes, she's betrayed people she loved. But Cindy isn't someone who seeks destruction for fun. She seeks intensity. She wants to feel alive, wanted, chosen. Quiet stability has never suited her for long. And right now, Cindy's life feels emotionally stranded. Doors she thought were open have closed. Hopes she might have clung to have slipped away. There's a sense that she's trying to work out who she is now, not who she used to be. Enter Max Branning. Max doesn't offer peace. He never has. What he offers is recognition. He sees people, really sees them, and that can be intoxicating, especially when you're feeling overlooked or dismissed. But Max also has a habit of dragging out the worst in people, including himself. He's drawn to women who challenge him, who don't sit quietly in his shadow. Cindy fits that perfectly. She's not impressed by him, but she's not immune to him either. And that's what makes this pairing feel so volatile. They're not two people falling in love. They're two people circling something dangerous because it feels familiar. You can already picture the arguments, the sharp words that cut too deep, the moments where one of them throws the past in the other's face, and suddenly everything explodes. Because neither of them knows how to love without damage. And if this does turn romantic, even briefly, it won't be soft or tender. It'll be messy, intense, and emotionally draining, not just for them, but for everyone around them. Which brings us to the real problem. If Cindy and Max truly cross that line, this won't stay contained. EastEnders never lets it. Families will be affected, old wounds will be torn open, people who thought certain chapters were closed for good will suddenly find themselves dragged back into history they desperately wanted to forget. That's what gives this storyline weight. It's not shock for the sake of it, it's rooted in decades of shared trauma, regret and unresolved anger. And the flash forward has made one thing very clear. This connection isn't a throwaway tease, it's something the show is actively planting, slowly and deliberately. Which makes me think we're heading for a long, uncomfortable, will they, won't they stretch, full of near misses, bad decisions, and moments that divide viewers right down the middle. Some fans will hate it, some will be glued to it. And honestly, That's exactly what EastEnders wants. Because love stories don't have to be healthy to be compelling. Sometimes the most powerful ones are the ones you wish wouldn't happen, but can't stop watching anyway. There's also something quietly tragic about Cindy and Max. Two people who might genuinely understand each other, but are probably incapable of giving each other peace, almost like they're mirrors, reflecting the parts of themselves they don't want to confront. So the big question isn't whether this storyline will be dramatic, it's whether either of them will come out of it intact. And knowing Walford, probably not. But that's just my take. Now I really want to hear yours, because this storyline is already dividing fans. Do you think Cindy and Max should never go there, or do you think this kind of chaos is exactly what EastEnders needs right now? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read every single one. If you enjoyed this breakdown, give the video a like, it really helps the channel out. And if you're not already subscribed, hit that button so you don't miss the next spoiler chat. Right, kettle on. We'll talk again very soon.